There is a Japanese urban legend about the ghost of a schoolgirl whose body was split in half by a train. She is said to roam train stations and urban areas at night, moving using her hands due to her missing lower body. She drags her upper torso, producing a scratching or teke sound with her elbows or the severed end of her body, hence her name, Teke. If she encounters someone, she will chase them and slice them in half, killing them in the same way she was killed. Teke is one of many vengeful spirits in Japanese legend, trapped between the world of the living and the spirit world due to her violent death. The belief in spirits exists across cultures, haunting people for generations. The spirits are thought to reside in another realm known as the spirit world, where both good and evil entities manifest in different forms. The concept of the spirit world stems from the belief that a person's awareness continues after death. Though separate from the physical world, the two realms constantly interact, allowing spirits to make contact with the living. To bridge this gap, practices as trances, seances, and other forms of mediumship are often used. According to spiritualists, the spirit world or the afterlife is not static but ever-changing, allowing spirits to continually evolve and reach perfection. This has led to the belief that spirits are far more advanced than humans. Since they can be reached, they are often sought for guidance and insight into the nature of the world and God. Some of these spirits are known as spirit guides. Spiritualists believe that the world is made of at least two fundamental things, matter and spirit. Spirits are further believed to include souls, the afterlife, spirits of the dead, deities, and mediums. According to some religions and cultures, the spirit world is a place where gods, angels, saints, and Satan are believed to reside, with heaven believed to be a higher place accessible to beings who meet accepted standards of divinity, goodness, and piety. Hell, on the other hand, is considered a lower realm of torment and punishment, often depicted beneath the earth's surface. Other versions of the spirit world include purgatory or limbo. From these depictions of the spirit world, the forces of good and evil seem to counteract each other. However, the nature of human fear often obscures the good side of the world, fixating on the bad and leaving an imprint that the spirit world is full of terror and gruesome entities, always ready to haunt and taunt human society. Spirits can be categorized into various types, including angels, demons, ghosts, fairies, and gnomes. They can also be classified by the realms they inhabit, such as the underworld, earth, the atmosphere, or heaven. Based on their respective realms, spirits are often seen as either good or evil. In many cultures, deceased ancestors are respected. However, if their spirits linger in the material world, it is considered unnatural and undesirable. This belief is typically accompanied by fear, as it is thought that these lingering spirits may seek vengeance, and that fear lingers in the background of our minds, like a quiet reminder of their menacing existence. In many cultures, shadow people are interpreted as entities or spirits, described as dark silhouettes with human shapes and profiles that flicker in and out of peripheral vision. Some claim that these figures attempt to jump onto people's chest and choke them. Even if the presence doesn't act, many insist that they can feel it staring at them. In European folklore, there's a fear of the dead returning to life to harm the living, often known as the revenant. This concept is represented by figures such as the Scandinavian Geganger, the Romanian Strigoi, the Serbian vampire, and the Greek Vrikolikas. Sorry if I said that wrong. Sometimes, these ghosts appear in a physical form, indistinguishable from the living, giving rise to numerous stories where ghosts are mistaken for humans. Moving on to Asian folklore, it features spirits that are often described as uncanny, grotesque, or horrifying. For example, in Thailand, there is the Krasu, a spirit seen as a floating head with attached internal organs. This entity appears in many Southeast Asian regions, such as the Philippines, Malaysia, and Vietnam, under different names like Penanggal in Malay, Mananggal in Tagalog, and Malay in Vietnamese. In Austronesian cultures, like Filipino and Malay, there is also a vampire-like ghost called Pontianak, which is said to suck the blood of innocent people to stay young, though the reasons for its actions can vary depending on the version of the story. In East Asian cultures, such as Japanese and Chinese, some ghosts are believed to have the ability to transform into animals, cause diseases and decay, and bring disaster through possession. In Chinese culture, a person's behavior during life determines what kind of ghost they may become. For example, someone who is arrogant in life may transform into a hungry ghost, while a person filled with hate may become a ghost capable of transforming into insects. If someone is consumed by materialism, they might become a ghost able to transform into any physical object. This ghost, while capable of causing harm to others, also suffer themselves as a result of their existence. It's almost as though their ghostly state serves as a punishment for their behaviors and sins they committed in life. For example, a person who was arrogant in life may turn into a hungry ghost. Among hungry ghosts, there are variations, such as needle-mouthed ghosts, whose mouths are no larger than needles, preventing them from satisfying their hunger or thirst. There are also foul-mouthed ghosts with vile, disgusting breath that repulses even themselves. Tumor ghosts, meanwhile, have large goiters that emit pus, which they must feed on. These ghosts are terrifying not only because of their appearance, but also due to the painful and agonizing existence they endure. Humans are fortunate that they do not have to confront these abominable beings, as they are protected by the fragile barrier between the physical world and the spirit world. Yet, the divide is not impenetrable. Occasionally, people manage to breach this thin veil, inadvertently glimpsing the nightmarish horrors that dwell beyond, with consequences that are often beyond their understanding. In some folklore and ghost stories, possession by a spirit goes beyond mere influence. It involves the complete displacement of the person's soul, which is pushed out and taken over by the spirit. In these cases, the soul isn't simply affected by the spirit's presence. It is fully trapped in another realm, unable to return. In Talk to Me, Riley becomes possessed by a vengeful spirit after playing a game that allows communication with the dead. As a result, Riley's soul is believed to be trapped in this otherworldly realm. In a desperate attempt to rescue him, Mia is granted access to the spirit world, where she witnesses Riley being relentlessly tortured by the inhabitants, screaming and crying in agony in the nightmarish landscape. In Insidious, the movie portrays the spirit world more extensively, offering a chilling insight into the otherworldly realm. The characters are frequently depicted entering this dark, oppressive space, often to rescue someone trapped within it. In the first film, Josh astral projects to find his son Dalton, who's stuck in the Further, a weird and eerie dimension filled with restless spirits. The place feels oppressive, with shadows stretching endlessly, and Josh finds Dalton chained up by a terrifying red-faced demon. Josh has to lead his son back to their bodies before they both get stuck there forever. In Insidious Chapter 2, it's Josh who gets trapped in the Further, and his wife thinks he's been possessed. With help from a psychic named Carl, Josh's spirits has to figure out a way to get back to the real world. In Insidious The Red Door, Dalton goes back into the Further to rescue his dad, Josh, who's still haunted by everything that happened. The darkness of the Further never really lets them go, always waiting to pull them back in. In the movie, many spirits are people who died tragically and became trapped in the Further. Some wander aimlessly, lost in the dark, while others are consumed by malevolence. One of the most terrifying is the red-faced demon, a monstrous figure that lurks in the shadows, seeking to possess human souls. Then there's the Bride in Black, a vengeful spirit fixated on Josh, using the Further as a gateway to haunt him. Some spirits don't even have faces, just dark looming figures that watch them from the void. Their presence a constant reminder that the Further is never really empty. What makes the Further so terrifying is that it doesn't follow the normal rules of space and movement. Doors can lead to unexpected places, and spirits can bend reality to their will. If you astral projects too far or linger too long, malevolent entities can seize your body in the real world. Unlike ghosts in typical hauntings, the spirits here can physically attack the living if they're strong enough. To escape, you must find your way back to your body. But if something else has already taken it, you may never return. Someone from the real world, like Alice in Insidious, can guide a lost soul back, but it's an incredibly dangerous process, and failure may mean being trapped forever. The people who usually get in trouble with spirits are those who either live in haunted places or have a natural connection to the paranormal, whether through seances, astral projection, or spiritual sensitivity. Paranormal investigators, mediums, and those who try to communicate with the dead also risk drawing unwanted attention. The rest of us can take comfort in knowing we are not among them. We also have one protection we often take for granted: life itself. As long as we are alive, we are shielded from the spirit world by the simple fact of our existence. Even spirits cannot truly possess life. But life is not permanent. It weakens as we age, and eventually, when the body can no longer contain the soul, it is forced out, leaving us to cross into the spirit world, left to face whatever awaits on the other side. The inevitability of death is just as terrifying as the spirit world itself. It's inescapable, and the fate of our souls remains uncertain. With bad life choices or a tragic end, all the horrors we've tried to avoid in life become unavoidable as we become an entity in a hellish, nightmarish world filled with malevolent residents, forced to coexist and suffer alongside them. Detention is a great example of someone trapped in the spirit world. In the game, Fang Rei Shin finds herself in a distorted version of her school, surrounded by a hellish and nightmarish landscape. As the story develops, Rei has to wander through the rest of the school to find clues and discover the reason why she is there. However, she is not alone. The school is scattered with ghosts and spirits, ready to harm and kill her. As the story progresses, we eventually learn that Rei had died, and the sequences we're playing through are just her soul going through the cycle of purgatory as she refuses to accept her guilt. Guilt that stems from getting her friends and teacher killed. Because of her refusal, she is forced to relive her past actions, unable to escape the consequences of her sins, burdened by her past and trapped by the weight of her wrongdoings. It's unclear whether Rei knows she's dead, but when we play as her, it seems like she thinks she's alive, just trapped in a distorted version of reality, experiencing fear and pain like a living person. It's horrifying to think that even as a ghost, she's still vulnerable to other spirits in that world. The fact that she belongs to the world she doesn't want to belong to makes it more terrifying, as she struggles to accept her fate, forced to relive her sins. Similar themes can be found in Silent Hill. In Silent Hill 2, we follow James Sunderland, who arrives in the town after receiving a letter from his dead wife, Mary. As he explores, he encounters disturbing monsters like Pyramid Head, who seems to exist to punish him. The deeper he goes, the more he realizes he's suppressing a dark truth about the death of his wife. The town forces him to face his guilt, and depending on the player's choices, he either accepts his sins, gets trapped in a loop of suffering, or even embraces death. Other characters in Silent Hill are also trapped in their own suffering, with the town manifesting their guilt and fears as physical horrors. The town's mysterious fog and its hellish otherworld distort reality, reflecting the protagonist's psyche. The creatures are not just random monsters, they symbolize the character's fears, traumas, or sins. Many characters struggle to separate reality from illusion, unsure whether they are alive, dead, or stuck in a form of purgatory. The game's horror lies in James realizing he is his own worst enemy, and just like in Detention, he is trapped by his own sins. The spirit world is a terrifying place where human imagination runs wild, but its existence is no more proven than that of a unicorn. Despite thousands of years of sightings, there's no empirical evidence, no known mechanism, and many paranormal experiences can be explained through hallucinations or sleep paralysis. And yet, spirits remain non-falsifiable. A lack of evidence doesn't disprove them, and with so much still unknown about human consciousness, the possibility that the spirit world exists, however small, remains. That uncertainty is what makes it truly terrifying. We will only know what's beyond after we die, and once we do, there's no coming back. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. There are a few things I couldn't really cover in this video, so I made some extra content available on both Patreon and YouTube membership. And if ghosts were once people and everyone dies, does that mean people are ultimately afraid of their own future selves? The prices are different depending on the platform, but I wanted to make it available on both just in case you prefer one over the other. Thanks again for your support, and I'll see you next time. Bye.